The Z to Z Podcast.
Buenos dias, buenas noches, y buenas tardes. Bienvenidos a la Z to Z Podcast. Le Case. No, I don't actually speak Spanish. Welcome to the Z to Z Podcast, the home for Xbox achievement hunters and gamerscore junkies. I'm your host, Brandon Freeman. Thank you so much for listening. At Z to Z, we love gaming and, in particular, grabbing achievements and gaining gamerscore. We do news, reviews, and interviews. If it's about achievements, we'll unlock it. I'm back from my fabulous vacation in the Riviera Maya region of Mexico with my beloved wife of 10 years and no kids. The downside? Well, no Xbox either. But I was up to my eyeballs in pina coladas and empanadas. I did have enough time when I got back to give Randy a solid thrashing in the UHH. I hope you enjoyed episodes 42 and 43 in my absence. Whatever your take, let's get back to normal. And on a side note, a big congratulations to David at the X1 Bros for the birth of their beautiful baby girl. And it happens to be his first child. Life will never be the same. You can find show notes for this show as well as previous shows on our website, z2z.com. This is episode 44. You can also contact us with questions and comments at Twitter, at Z2ZZEDTOZED, over at our forums, discourse.z2z.com, or, of course, our email, contact@z2z.com. Today's show is brought to you by the achievement Adios, Mexico, from the game Loco Cycle. This is a story-related achievement for completing the second set of stages, appropriately called El Highway. It is completely unmissable and should be quite easy to obtain. What isn't easy is trying to forgive Twisted Pixel for this underwhelming follow-up to such wonderful games like Splosion Man, The Maw, Comic Jumper, and my personal favorite, The Gunstringer. Maybe they'll have better luck with their upcoming VR title, Wilson's Heart. Special thanks to developer Twisted Pixel and publisher Microsoft Studios. And if you, our fantastic listeners, have a suggestion for an achievement sponsored, let us know. You can contact us at Twitter, of course, at Z2Z. That's ZEDTOZED. We've got our forums, discourse.z2z.com, email contact@z2z.com, or, you can even put it in an iTunes review post. So, before we get into the regular part of the show, I want to implore all of you who are listening. I know everybody loves the outtakes, and so if you listen to the closing segment, and of course Shovelware Cemetery, we've got a special announcement that we need all of your help to do. So if you're a listener of the show and would like to continue to help us out, please give us a hand and follow the instructions given later in the show. But for now, I'm going to introduce my co-hosts. We have Crandy over on the East Coast. How are you doing tonight, sir?
I'm doing all right.
I'd love to hear that. And we've got Tarragon on the way East Coast. Actually, he's probably, let's just go west. It's closer for me. How you doing today, Crandy? Or Crandy, Tarragon?
I don't know.
You went too far. Bad. Go back.
Too far, yeah.
Too much Crandy. I'm good, thank you.
There you go. And of course, we have
on everyone before the show.
We have Prue with us. How are you doing tonight, Prue?
I am doing fantastic.
Wonderful. I'm so happy to be talking to you guys again. I was looking forward to being on this show for a long time. It is so long to be away from podcasting for 2 weeks.
It's the first time you're away, and then you're away for 2 episodes.
Yeah.
In a row.
But I had a glorious time on my wonderful Mexican vacation with my lovely wife of 10 years, celebrating our anniversary. It was awesome. I gained like 7 pounds on the trip eating. Here's my breakfast, all right? I would go and I'd get a plate and I would put bacon on there and I'd put tater tots or like hash browns. And then I'd put 2 waffles and a cinnamon roll and usually an empanada or a breakfast burrito. So I'd eat that. And then I'd get another plate and put a donut and some cookies and some like sugary toast on there and a chocolate muffin. And that was breakfast.
That sounds awesome.
It was so good. Oh man, all inclusive and not worrying about the diet. Man, I had to bulk up for getting back into shape, right? I got to get real unshapely to then get back into a decent shape. So
that was the way you win those competitions.
That's right. That's exactly right. So that was a lot of what I have been doing in the past week. But what was awesome, and we're going to go into my recap, is when I got home, I was still able to put a beat down on Crandy when we got matched up in the UHH, the wonderful Artifex Mundi week. I think, and I've been telling people, is what saved me in that was the fact that there was enough diversity of games that you didn't want to start that many games on your tag, and Dead Rising came out.
Well,
so I was like, I didn't have any problem diving all that garbage. Like, I have all these unfinished Artifex Mundi games on my tag right now. It's almost painful, but I got the victory.
Yeah, you did, and that's exactly why, because 16 of my 20 achievements were in games I hadn't started.
Yeah.
And the top two, one was like, what was it? Some crazy time commitment, and then the other one was like beat all of the adventures in Connect Adventures.
Yes.
So it's like, I'm probably not going to do those because I want to do Connect Adventures co-op, and the other one was, I don't know, something. And yeah, I think I started 3 or 4 games. I was going to Professional Farmer, with the change. Got screwed on that one. I got a physical copy coming now, so it'll get off of my tag.
I think you did Goosebumps, right? Because you loved Goosebumps. So
I
that
love Goosebumps.
You
and
got 2 achievements there.
Yeah,
and that was a great game. That was fun.
Yeah,
but because it was October and we're doing the Z2Z Dead Rising challenge,
yes.
You're like, hey, we got 2 Dead Rising on here. I better start playing Dead Rising. And you were so hooked into Dead Rising.
Oh yeah, I played Dead
great.
Rising 1 again. Man, so good, so good. Love that game.
Yeah.
The other thing was...
We'll get there, Tarragon. You just settle down. This is between me and Crandy.
Yeah, so then, of course, Dead Rising 3, I had started that. I don't know if that was before our matchup. No, it was right after, I think, because I got 4 people together and we made our way through that terrible, terrible matchmaking.
Is it still terrible?
Oh,
even on
so bad. So bad. Well, no, Dead Rising 3, the super, ultra, mega, super arcade remix plus alpha. Yeah.
Sorry, I was thinking Dead Rising 2's matchmaking was pretty poor as well.
Yeah, that was hideous.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. I haven't gotten there yet because, Amazon has had some issues.
We'll get there.
Yeah, and then I decided, well, I'm unemployed right now, and basically any day can be totally free if I want it to be. So that, to me, was a really good opportunity to do 7-Day Survivor before I get a job. So in order to do 7-Day Survivor, there's a lot of prep. So I did first, I got my Zombie Genocider, and then I did my Saint/Transmissionary/Overtime mode run all in one go, which also got me level 50. So now I'm all set up to do that, which I think I'm going to do on Monday, which will have already happened by the time this podcast comes out.
Nice. Good luck with that. I hope it worked.
See.
And I think knowing that I was in Mexico all week, you kind of were just like, well, what the hell is he going to do when he gets back on Saturday?
Well, see, I was looking because I wanted to get more points as a buffer. But it really came down to, I just, I already put so many games in my tag this week and the week before, and then knowing that I'm going to put a couple more on, it was just, they're only, 3 to 6 hours each. But when you put 10 of those games in your tag, well, suddenly it becomes
it's
a
long.
lot of
I'm hoping they show up
of,
again. So that takes us let's just continue on the UHH topic here. So I put on my status. I said, hey, I'm back, recording the show tonight. What I miss? Apparently Big L was doing a lot of stuff because literally everybody, actually I thought these were like wedding vows because we had, Big L being amazing, Big L being hilarious, Big L being patient, generous. I was waiting for kind, always trusting, right? Corinthians 1:10, whatever. But it got to a real question or a real comment here by Keith271179 saying, hey, congrats on beating Crandy in the UHH last week. Out of the hosts, who do you think is going to make it to the knockout rounds? Of course, by the time this podcast's out, we'll know the answer. But going into it, right, we're on the cusp of it here. He wants to know how many of us are getting to knockouts, and how far do you think you'll go? Now, Angel SK, of course, because of the time we're recording, can't be on the show because, it's 3 a.m. She said that she is definitely moving on. She's in the top 20. She's killing it right now. It was awesome. She was the featured game yesterday or 2 days ago. That was fun to see. And she is absolutely committed to winning that first opening knockout round. As after that, she said she doesn't know. For me, I've been kind of running the analytics here. I won 2 games, okay, but they didn't win by much, right? So I got that bonus 20 points, but ultimately, with what I've got now, I've got 7 achievements now. I'm getting killed this week. The guys already got 17. I'm toast this week, but I'm hovering at 39. Kind of looking at the numbers, I think. I put this in the forums. I think 37 is going to be the cutoff. I'm going to try to get up to 42. I think the best I can do is 42, and I'll tell you a game that I'm giving up on. But I think 42 is going to be the number. So who do we think's make? I really want to make it. I want to get to the knockouts.
I think 42 is exactly my guess. Also, as I think
is the cutoff.
Yeah.
Okay. And are you anywhere close, Crandy?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I only see my first 2 matches my first match was similar to the last, like our match, where almost all of the games were either games I haven't started. So I'm, looking at starting like 10 games to get 10 points, which I don't really want to do.
Embrace the dive.
And so I only got one. I got 1-0 win on my first. I could have done more than that. But I don't know. I was playing something I was into. I don't remember what.
Dead Rising.
Must have been really into it.
I don't know. Was it? I don't know. I don't remember. And then the second week, obviously, same thing. But I got a few more points. And then this week was actually my first match that I was really happy with. There's only a few games I haven't started. And most of the achievements are doable. But I think I'm down so much that I'm not going to make it. So I'm kind of playing it by ear. I can get a lot more achievements within a few hours. So over the weekend, if I decide, okay, I think I'm going to go for it, I can put, maybe 5. I can probably pull 5 more off, which would put me
what score are you on at the moment?
I have 22 right now, I think.
Okay, so if you got 10 achievements and the win, you get another 20. That would put you up.
37. Yeah, well, I could not get 10 achievements. There's not enough time, and it's too hard. Because there are achievements I have beat Perfect Dark Perfect Dark 0 on the second hardest difficulty, which is not going to happen. I have beat Vampire Rain, which is not going to happen. I have get all Rainbows and Action Hank, which is not going to happen. I mean, they're all going to happen eventually, but not in a week. So I think I could do 5 if I start a couple of games, maybe 6 or 7. And then I'll probably win because my opponent has not done any more in the last 4 days or something. So I don't know. It'd be real close, and I don't know. It's not looking so good for me. I'm at 800 something now. I don't know. 33. Cutoff's only 33 though.
For now,
well,
but
today,
it's going to change a lot. I think.
Figure that half of the crowd, half of the group is going to have an extra 10 points added. And there's still achievements to unlock in between. We'll see.
Yeah, and that's why I could put up a lot more, but it's just kind of the thing. I don't know. Do I want to start 2 or 3 more games to maybe make it?
That's where I came up with my numbers. If there's 934 people, then 400 some of those are getting 10 extra points. Let's say best case scenario, or worst case if you consider it, that those 400 people are the top 400 and they all got matched with people below. Then you take that cutoff point and you move it up 10 points. When that's where you get 42 or 43, right? So that's almost the minimum, provided nobody scores, right? But you got that weekend coming up.
Yeah.
But that's not going to be the case because you're going to have dredges match with dredges and people below matched up. So that's why I kind of brought my number down to maybe upper 30s. And that's why I said 36. I think that 36 might actually do it.
Because 30.
I wouldn't rest my laurels. I wouldn't rest on my laurels there, but it's possible. Now I'm looking at Prue. I don't think you have anything to worry about, sir.
Yeah, I'm currently at 43. Fortunately for me, both of my first two contestants were, I think, napping the whole time. So I just got to kind of coast on that. And this period, we've been kind of rubber banding a bit. And I think we've both reached the point where we don't really want to go for the rest of these achievements. Like, I have seriously 3.0 on here. I have to replay Dragon Age Inquisition on hard. I would have to replay Cameo. Like, just a bunch of stuff that I'm really not going to go for. So we're tied right now, but neither of us have gotten an achievement in a day or so. So I'm not really sure what's going to happen there. But even if I win,
you got to sneak one. You got to sneak one. Try just get that bonus 10 points.
Cameo is short.
Yeah, I know. I have to fully complete it, like 100% it. I mean, I've already beaten it or whatever, but I think I have to go back and get all the collectibles and stuff like that. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's not so quick. I'm talking about just ripping through the game. Because I know that one, I remember doing that one for Rare Replay. I was really surprised at how fast I hit that 750. Because I thought it was a much longer game.
So there is an achievement on here that I was like, oh, I can easily get this, right? Because I played the crap out of this game when it first came out. And this is an achievement in 2 Human. And oh my goodness, wow. Going back to this game is really torturous. Like, this game was not great. And I kid you, I just tried. It took me 20 minutes to figure out the controls. And literally all I have to do is acquire a certain number of items in the game. And, I'm reading through the forums and stuff, and they're like, this and this and this. There is a item tracker somewhere in that UI that I literally can't find. I spent about 2 hours searching for it, and I can't find it. So I have no idea how close I am, and I have no idea if it's even worth going for it. But if anybody remembers how to do that, please contact me. Because if I'm only like 1,000 away, I'll just sit there and grind that out. But if I'm like 3,000, I'm not going to play that game. Ugh.
Yeah, I can see
but
it.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll probably...
Probably not much point announcing it on the show because this will be out after the achievement goes away.
No. Well, tell me anyways, because I would like to know actually at this point. But
So at first, get a DeLorean and then hit 88, come back, tell me, then I get it. What about you, Urban? You look like you're sitting all right.
Well, yeah, I'm sitting all right, I think, in terms of the overall contest. I'm on 45 at the moment. My current matchup, I was actually been behind all week. I finally caught up last night and was actually leading. We were both on 12. But he's put another one on overnight. So, yeah, we're sort of neck and neck on that one. But I think I'm going to scrape through even if I lose my matchup this week. So, yeah,
that'll be fun.
Feeling pretty comfortable.
That'll be fun. Well, we'll get a little bit more on kind of some of the games I've been playing for this UHH. I'm having a lot of fun with this. I'm glad it's gone 3 weeks. I think it was a great addition. I went back to Resident Evil Code Veronica, and you kind of reminded me of this talk that you had in the forums today, Tarragon, about walkthroughs. The walkthrough in this, like, technically, this is only the 3rd achievement in the series, right? For whatever reason, there's only 12 achievements, even though it's a full-fledged game, just it's an old game, so it's miniaturized into a Xbox Live type game. So looking at the list, it's like, oh, okay, I just have to get to this point. Well, that point is well into the game. I mean, it's easily halfway into the game.
I remember diving this game, and it took ages to get to the first achievement.
It totally did.
Same with Silent Hill. The Silent Hill HD collection was like that.
Now I'm watching a video, and then I'm kind of following the video. It's like I don't want to deal with. I want the story. I don't really want to deal with like the jump scares or the exploring. It's like I just want to play through the game and enjoy what. Because I know a lot about the backstory of Umbrella already, so I just want to see the story through. And I was always a champion of, because I remember so vividly the Resident Evil remake on the GameCube, playing that in college in my dorm, and like being so scared and knowing like championing the tank controls and saying, oh my gosh, like that helped the tension so much because it was not responsive and it was it. That is such a terrible game mechanic. Like, I loved it when it was new and fresh, and that was an interesting way to do 3D camera angles and movements, right? Static camera, and you could kind of always move forward. But holy crap, we have come so far. This is so painful to do, and you just feel so awkward. And like I'm trying to stab these zombies on the ground, and I'm like banging my elbow into the wall, and it's stopping my. Of course, it's a survival horror game, right? So you don't have any resources. I'm always out of bullets. So that I've been kind of struggling through that. I went then to Tower of Guns. Okay, this is a game jam game. It's totally procedurally generated, literally just a generic first-person shooter with absolutely over-the-top ballistics. And it's campy, it's silly, it's goofy, and I dived it for a different achievement during the UHH, and I was like, this is kind of dumb. Like I don't enjoy this at all. Then I put another 2 hours into it the other night, and holy crap, I actually am really enjoying this thing. It's a totally generic shooter, but the random elements, you throw a little of the random ability in there, and all of a sudden you are flying through the air, or the dudes are super fast, or your bullets are crazy slow. You start getting really powered up, and it's almost, that level of superhero in Crackdown or Prototype where, you just are pretty much indestructible, but then you just start doing something stupid and, fall into a meat grinder or whatever. It's actually a lot of fun. And I'm surprised at how much I enjoyed it. And it's just, climb this endless tower. So if you guys, as far as procedurally generated games, again, pointless, mindless, but it's a great time. Along those lines was Shovel Knight. I started Shovel Knight this week, and that game is awesome. I only played through the first level, but holy crap, it is so vintage Nintendo-type gaming, and it's just solid platforming that I cannot recommend playing that enough. I really look forward to getting back into that. On the flip side, one of my achievements is in Mega Man Legacy Collection, and I'm like, oh, all right, let's do some retro gaming, right? I just did Shovel Knight, even though it's not retro. The art style's retro.
Retro.
It's new retro, and it's to get 25 bronze medals in the challenges. I mean, simply beat 25 challenge levels, right? And the challenge levels are 4 minutes. You have 4 minutes to beat it, 5 minutes to beat it. I'm like, oh, well, it's just beating some little sections of Mega Man. I could do that. I did one and said, oh my God, this is so hard. He is just a terrible, it is not a good platformer. The old school Nintendo is not a good platformer. I did one and I said, that's the end of this. I'm not getting any more of these medals. And I remember very distinctly the iconic Mega Man boss, that yellow blob with the red eye, who just simply goes back and forth across the screen. And it's I couldn't be bothered to remember what weapon was so awesome against him, right? There was one that you could kill him in 3 shots. And I totally forgot what it was, but I was just getting wrecked. I'm like, I'm done. It's 1 a.m. I'm done. Forget this. The last thing I want to mention that I played this week was White Knight. This is it is a survival horror game, and it is absolutely, totally monochromatic. It is completely black and white. There's absolutely no shading at all, not even gray, black and white. And it's set in the 1920s, and you're this kind of grizzled detective type guy, and you end up getting into an accident on this drive, and you get hurt pretty bad. And so that's it's a really interesting mechanic, because your dude now hobbles around because he's got internal wounds, and so he can't walk well, and so you're inherently very, very slow. And that just adds so much to this tension. And with the lighting effects that are in play, you have to light these matches to kind of keep the ghosts and the hauntings away. And the achievement I needed to get for the UHH was to run out of matches. I had to light my last match and put it out by myself. And so that was easy, right? Once you got the matchbook, I could go and do that. And I couldn't make it halfway through the matchbook before I took my headset off and just played it in quiet. Because I was like, I'm getting really freaked out here. And even though I'm just going for achievements, I'm not even invested in the story really. This is unnerving. And then I put out that last match, and I had my headset down, so I'm not listening to anything, but the controller is now vibrating incessantly, like what is happening, and I could hear just this faint sound in my headphones. I'm like, I'm done. I'm putting this away. This is too much for me. I need to get out of here. And so I got my achievement. I'm like, shut it down. I don't know when I'm going to play this game because it looks terrifying. And I was going through some of the games, Tarragon, I know that you picked up, like Emily Wants to Play. I watched a gameplay of that, and I'm like, not a freaking chance. Like, there's no way I'm going to play that game. It's like just a jump scare city. I don't want to I don't know how you play those games.
Oh, you just got to have a strong constitution, really. But Emily's a bit of an oddity, actually, because once you know how all the there's a set of dolls in the game, and once you know how each of those dolls works, the jump scare ability kind of doesn't affect you as much. But
I still think it does. I read how to beat it. Like, I looked and I'm like, how fast is this completion? Because it's a quick completion. But you also because there's luck involved. That's what makes it potentially longer.
You have to finish the hardest. There's it's divided into time periods, so you've got like midnight till 1 till 2, etc. And you've got to make it till 6 a.m. when the sun comes up and you're free. But the period between 5 and 6 is obviously the hardest, and you've actually got to beat that twice. And there is a bit of an element of luck to that. So it probably took me just getting past that section for this final time. Probably took me another 3 hours of just doing it.
Okay.
And the thing is that the length of those periods is only 6 minutes. So you've only got to survive 6 minutes in actual real time, but just due to the fact that you'll get a doll popping up where you don't expect it, or as you're running around trying to find Emily.
Yeah, because the mechanics, like one of the dolls you have to find, one of the dolls you always have to keep in your line of sight, one of the dolls you can't be in the same room with, and the other doll you can't move. And it's like, okay, wait, I got to find one, but I can't move. I can't be in the same room, but I have to look at this one. And so many of those mechanics compete, and because it's procedurally generated, you just might get a crappy draw.
Yeah. So, I mean, they avoid the one where Chester is the one which appears in the room and then runs after you, and you've got to step into another room to get rid of him. And then there's Mr. Tatters is the one that appears, and then you've got to stand still like a statue so he doesn't come and kill you. They avoid putting those two together. At least until the very, very end, anyway. But they avoid putting those two together because they're an obvious conflict. But everybody else is fair game. So it's an interesting game. I don't think I'd play it again. So now I put it out of the way.
I put it on my no thanks list of games that you owned. I'm not happy with that. But let's move on to what you did play this week. What have you been up to?
Well, as you alluded to earlier, I having to play through a bunch of different games that are on my UHH list, and one of those was Tomb Raider Legend, which I've renamed here to Tomb Raider the Swearing, but due to the amount of swearing that I went through trying to get through this game. I had to get through to the end of level 4, I think, and I was using the walkthrough on TA, and the walkthrough on TA just got progressively worse and worse and worse as the further into the game it got, to the point where there's this... there was a corridor that you enter which has all these traps and platforms you go step on and do this thing and shoot this thing, and then you use your grapple to get across to another section, all that sort of stuff. And that's 3 separate corridor sections before you get to the sort of boss of the area. And that was described in the walkthrough as get through the corridor. That was the only description on what to do on that bit. And it's just thanks walkthrough. That's really helpful. There was just moments like that. Yeah. It's just frustrating. Or just little things like platformy bits where just platform frustrations where you jump at a rope and you literally jump right through the rope, but you don't reach out and grab the rope, and you fall, and then you have to go through another 5 sections to get back up to where you were so you can attempt to jump on that rope again. And then you miss again, even though you're jumping right at it. That's kind of a combination of bad platforming and bad walkthrough, and there were many swears. Beyond that, Draw a Stickman Epic. I played that. I've actually had that come up 2 weeks in a row, I think, on the UHH. And
that came up for me too.
Yeah, it's actually the more I play of it, the more I actually kind of like it as a.
It's clever.
It's a clever little game, and it's sort of it is the epic part of it is basically you're on an epic quest, which sort of makes sense, and they're kind of telling this long story of going through and defeating monsters and discovering all the things. So yeah, it's quite a fun little game, and just a pro tip for anybody who is looking at that game, you can play it without the Kinect, and I highly recommend doing that because it's just
tell me how to do that because I tried and it wasn't registered. Do I need to absolutely unplug it so that the Kinect doesn't register at all, or can I override it?
You can override it. I mean, my Kinect's been on all the time. I think you just change the settings somewhere. I forget exactly.
Oh, so it's probably an in-game thing then, huh?
Yeah. So, I mean, I just changed it, and you can switch it on the fly, I'm pretty sure.
I hope so, because there is one of the first mechanics is there's a red crayon that everything you draw turns to fire. And so I'm using my hand, right? But of course the Kinect is so sloppy that I can't do it well. And so I just end up drawing a straight line from one place to another that I need to. And of course, along the way, I'm clipping every tree that happens to be in the world. And I'm starting these massive forest fires.
Yeah. No, you can definitely change it because I think I had the Kinect turned on for the first couple of levels until I realized, you can play it without. And then I was reading the walkthrough and it said, you can do it with the controller. And I thought, how do I do that? So you can change it in the middle of the game.
Highly recommend it then.
Yeah, it's not set at the start. And it's pretty straightforward. There's nothing particularly complicated about it. I think it's going to be a relatively long game. There's a lot of levels to get through, but it's not terribly difficult. Frozen Free Fall Snowball Fight, which is a freebie kind of gem matching game based on the Frozen franchise or the franchise of one. There was the top rated achievement on my UHH list this week was for beating someone with 10 characters. Now, to get that, you need to have gotten through 175 matches, I think, through the single player to unlock all those characters. Or you spend some money and just get the unlock all the characters pack, which is what I ended up doing. Because
oh dear,
yeah,
caved.
Yeah, I caved.
Slope. Because this is why these games keep coming out.
Yeah, but it was for the competition. I wouldn't have done it otherwise. But kind of,
you know what, Terry? You're a grown man. You can spend money however you want.
Exactly.
However, Freem, you probably have that freebie too.
You probably do.
So,
you think that transfers over?
Yeah, I think it's basically on the profile, so it should be available on both. So yeah, you can have it. Yeah.
Woohoo! Free stuff.
Yeah.
Until you pay for it.
Yeah. Wait, what?
Tarragon paid for it.
Yeah, so free stuff. No, wait, I paid for it. It's not free stuff. Wait a minute. I also played some Dead Rising. Wasn't on my UHH, but it's Dead Rising month at Z2Z, so I decided to actually pick that up. Well, I picked that up a few weeks ago for the Xbox One, and it's still good. I think we'll have a bit of a discussion about this later. Randy?
It's still excellent.
It's still good. I still hold that Dead Rising 2 probably improved what needed to be improved in the game. There's still a few clunky little things. But yeah, basically I did much the same thing as Randy. And the first thing I did was basically ignore the plot completely and go and get zombie genocider. Yeah. Because that unlocks the super mega blaster, or the real super mega blaster thing, which is basically the best weapon in the entire game and makes the rest of it fairly easy. So I remember when I went back to this game after playing it through the first few times, and not realizing that you could actually unlock special things like that.
Yeah, because nobody could read anything back when we played it the first time. Not a single person in the world could read what that game was saying.
Yeah, well, it's not even that. It's just I wasn't even aware that, if I happen to do that genocider thing, then that will unlock something special. That wasn't even on my radar. I didn't realize that things unlocked. And it was only so after I did it, and it gave me the Mega Blaster, and I started reading up on the 7-Day Survivor kind of tips, and it's like, you do that and you unlock this. That would have made things so much easier when I was working on all the other achievements in that game. Damn it.
To this day, I don't know how you beat Cletus without the Mega Blaster. He cheats.
Yeah. Cletus is
he cheats.
He's the gun shop guy, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you
I
can
think
I thought you could
I got him.
shoot through the door, like you could hang way back.
No, I don't know. It never worked for me. He just killed me before I did anything. Like every playthrough, I just avoid the gun shop because my Cletus is in there. I think I knew when he expired or something, and then I'd go to the gun shop like on day 3 or whatever. But no, man, I was afraid of him. That was the first thing I did when I got the Mega Blast. I went and killed Cletus.
Take that. Yeah. Well, I think I got past Cletus all right before I had the Mega Blast.
I don't know.
Anyway,
maybe I just had a really hard time with Cletus.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, well, I guess that's Dead Rising was making things a bit hard, particularly with weapons and aiming weapons. That's probably my biggest gripe with that. Anyway, Soda Drinker Pro, I needed some points, and Soda Drinker Pro was able to give me a bunch of easy points. The other half of the achievements are looking like they're going to be a real pain with Vivian. What is it? Vivian something or other?
Vivian Clark.
Vivian Clark mode. That
I
looks
still
like
want to
it'll be a
play
real
Vivian
pain.
Clark.
Yeah.
For real. But I don't know. We'll see. I have to get over my anger.
Yeah, so I got everything in that except for one achievement, which ironically is related to something that's coming up for me soonish. I think I've mentioned it on the podcast before. I was going to do the 8-hour desert driving thing from Roundabout for my to bring up my 333 milestone. And there is actually a level in Soda Drinker Pro, which is basically a desert bus level. You walk to Vegas. It's just, for one of the achievements, you have to walk to the city, which is Vegas, and there's actually a bus there. Unfortunately, getting the bus, there's an achievement for actually getting to the bus, and the hitbox to actually trigger that achievement seems like it must be like a pixel, because it just seems impossible to actually find the spot. And I've read a lot of people having trouble with that particular one. So from the actual main Soda Drinker game, that's the only achievement I haven't been able to actually get, which is a bit frustrating. If anybody's got any tips on that, I'd love to hear them. And the other game that was sort of notable was Perfect Woman. I put that on for some points, and it's actually not that bad a game. It's silly. It's very tongue in cheek, kind of silly, playing these life paths kind of thing. But it's not that bad. If you're after quick points, that's probably something to go for. And you have a connect, of course. But do note there is an unobtainable or a couple of unobtainables in that at the moment. And I think that's about it for my recap. Who's next?
Prue. Let's go with Prue. What have you been up to, Prue?
Okay, just working on both UHH / random to-do list stuff. So it's like a smattering of stuff. Unlike the three of you, it sounds like I have never gotten into Dead Rising, which is kind of giving me a bit of a... Yeah, I know.
What do you...
In fact...
Get off the show. Get out.
I played Dead Rising fairly early on. I think when it first went, whatever it was called, not Platinum or whatever it was, those best-selling games on the 360, I bought it.
Yeah, that's Platinum.
Platinum. Yeah. And I played it for a little while. Didn't really get into it. I think the most I've played of it was for the last round of UHH. So, no interest in doing it this month. So I've just been working on the UHH and the random to-do list stuff, and I still feel like I don't have enough time to do everything. But just random stuff. Both the last period and this period, I had GTA Online achievements. And I think I played it once or twice when they first released it. But man, they should call it Griefer Online. Because I don't know how it normally works, but as soon as you log into that game, somebody's going to find you and shoot you, and then wait till you respawn and shoot you again. And it is awful. Like I was just trying to do, like I needed to play tennis for an achievement, and they were just killing me on the tennis court. It was awful. It was rough. It was rough to get the achievements I needed to. But other than that, just a bunch of random stuff. Hence the name, I suppose. Stuff like stuff that I played ages ago, Worms and Penny Arcade and stuff like that. I did complete the remastered BioShock just this evening, actually. So
as in 100% achievements, or
as in 100% of the achievements.
Nice.
I was a little concerned about one of the challenge rooms. You have to beat it in 15 minutes, and it took a couple of tries, but it wasn't as bad as I was expecting. So I got to do that, and other than that, just tiny achievements here and there where I can for these darn competitions.
So many competitions.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
No,
all
I'm,
going to
like,
start lightening up.
taking
You guys are
part
going to be
in
so
2 of
bored.
them.
I know. It's only 2 of them. Well, last month when we were doing the Wolfenstein stuff, like that's what I was mainly focusing on. So now that I don't have that, like I'm not doing the Dead Rising thing. I do feel a little freer to do other stuff. But even, I don't know, man. It's tough for me because I start to like look at these and I'm like, I gotta just do this. I have to do this and nothing else. So it's a lot of stress.
Shouldn't be stressful. It's all about options, Prue. That's just trying to give you options.
See, that's why I don't do competition anymore. Now I'm getting too into UHH. I don't like it. I need to be eliminated so I can just play my Dead Rising games.
Well,
That's what I want to do.
Why don't you tell us about what you've been playing there, Crandy?
Well, I've been playing lots of Dead Rising, which is funny because it's just a coincidence that this coincided with the Dead Rising challenge because like I just kind of got the Dead Rising bug. Yeah, I know. Bad joke. But I've been playing
That's
Dead Rising.
the joke.
I've been playing Dead Rising 2 off the record on the 360. I figured I should probably get that done before I take on the remaster, that's my last Dead Rising game on the 360 to do. So I've been working on that, been working on the co-op, and working on the single player, been working on getting 100,000 kills, which is just a blast. It's not a blast.
No.
Then I popped in the superior Dead Rising 1, which looks gorgeous in its remaster. I mean, it's still the same graphics, but it looks good. Like, I mean, yeah, people are still kind of blocky. The mouth movements are kind of weird, but
Yep.
it is. I particularly appreciated the improvements on things around the mall. Like, you can now really clearly read all the labels in the grocery store. You can read the labels on the boxes underneath the counters. It's just little details like that I really, on top of the details that were already there in the first place, that I think really make the mall setting feel good. Like, it's a good setting. It feels like what you would expect, because even when you look behind the counter, there's still stuff there. When you look around in the corners, there's still stuff there. And I like that. The remaster was nice. And it's totally not a buggy mess like most of the remasters seem to be. It is. I have had 0 problems. Although I have heard that the digital version has some issues. Don't know why. But oh, that's good.
Yeah, I haven't had a problem with it, although I have heard people talking about it crashing a bit.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
In the guides for Zombie Genocide, they were saying, look, go and save more often than you would think, because it does crash. But I haven't had a single crash.
Mine was super smooth. Yeah, I've only heard the problem happening with the digital version, not with the disc. But I mean, I'm sure there are more digital versions out there than discs, so it could just be a coincidence. But yeah, played a lot of Dead Rising, as I mentioned earlier, setting up for 7-Day Survivor. And then the next one, I busted out the Kinect finally. I have all this Kinect space, and I've had time to play Kinect, and I haven't. I finally busted out the Gunstringer, which is a game I haven't touched, I think, since 2012. I had an achievement on my... It is great. I had an achievement on my UHH list, so I played Real Big Shootin'. Got all the achievements in Real Big Shootin', except for Play with a Friend, because I don't have any friends to play with.
Insert violin here.
And then I attempted...
Rain cloud noises.
Yeah. Just raining.
Then I attempted Strings of Steel, and man, that dragon. Oh, how do you even do... Like, there's not enough space for you to get through those fireballs. I got really mad. I stopped playing.
Okay.
I do want to do. I do plan on doing Strings of Steel.
I want that. That's one of my. It's like a holy grail one for me. Is Strings of Steel. It's
well.
Beat the game in like one sitting on hardcore without dying, right?
Yeah. Well, without dying, but you can restart as many times as you want. So that's the key. Is you can't die, but you can restart. So like if you're on 2 hearts, ideally what you do if you get down to 2 hearts, you pause and restart the level. So you have a wired controller near you, so you can quickly just duck down and hit start and then restart the scene you're on with full health.
Yeah,
to
that
not die.
sounds like the same trick you use with is it Batman? What was the crappy Batman game?
Arkham Origins.
Arkham Origins, but there's a mode in that where you've got to get through the entire game on its hardest difficulty with only one life. But the trick there is that if you getting close to death, just quit out and come back at your checkpoint.
Yeah, but the other nice thing is, and this is a tip if you want to attempt it free, you can start at any scene in the game you want. So I started at the dragon because I know the dragon is the only scene that's actually problematic. So if I can beat the dragon, then I know, okay, well, the rest of the run is going to be easy because I beat the dragon. So what you do is you get to the end of the game. So the dragon is, I think, scene 3-2. You get to the end of the game, then you skip the credits, and then you start a new game immediately afterwards, and you get up to the scene that you started, and then the achievement will pop. As long as you don't die, obviously. So yeah, that's why I was starting with the dragon, and it's so annoying. And it's really frustrating too that that's the only scene that is really consistently problematic in the entire game. Just because like the Kinect not quite being precise enough to really maneuver you through the little holes in the fireballs, and the holes in the fireballs being like so tiny that you just can't get it. So I got mad at the Gunstringer, but I had fun with real big shooting. Then I played Wick, Fable of Souls, got mad at that. BioShock 2 Japan, I popped the first story achievement. Apparently I launched Doom by accident. Don't know how I did that. Tron Evolution, killed some people with a heavy disc. Juice 2, I won some bets. Assassin's Creed Revelations, I assassinated some guards. And then I got playing Dead Rising 3. Now, I was a little skeptical at first because there were a few things. Okay, they broke the tradition of the 20-point achievements, and I was not happy with that. They added DLC achievements. I was not happy with that. They changed the inventory system. I'm still not happy with that. I do not like the inventory system in Dead Rising 3. I think it's terrible. However, I really like the setting. Kind of. I've got some issues with the setting.
Wait.
But
I'm really like that. Well, actually, no, I don't.
Generally, I like it because it feels like how it should feel. There are so many zombies all the time, always constantly on you. There are tipped over cars everywhere. It looks gorgeous, and you feel trapped. You really feel trapped despite having all the space. And the thing I don't like about it is it's real pain to navigate. It's not fun. It's just excessively difficult to navigate. It's not doing anything except making it frustrating. 2, I don't like. You have all this space, but there's nothing in it. Like, you can't go in most of the buildings and stuff like that. I don't like that. I much prefer half the space with all of the buildings. And the other thing is when you have that many zombies, I like it and I don't like it because it took away the kind of... They took away one thing, the waiting time, which is also good and bad, because now there's a time limit, not a time requirement. But they took away all the fun stuff, because you're constantly, like, the zombies are so aggressive and so on you all the time that you don't have any time to play with the fun weapons anymore. And I do feel like that's kind of something lost. But I really like the story. The story is very intriguing. And I think I figured out the twist before it happened, which I don't usually do. And I just had like a crazy like realization moment. I was like, I know what that is. I know what that tattoo means. I know what it is. I know what that... I am not there yet, so don't spoil it. I'm pretty sure.
I haven't got there either, so it's...
I'm pretty sure I figured it out, and I'll drop a little hint. I would not have figured it out if I did not just play Dead Rising. It's a tie back to Dead Rising 1, which I liked. I don't know. I'll see how it is when I get to the end. I'm kind of mixed, but generally it's enjoyable. And that's it. That's it for me.
Gotcha. Fantastic. And that's kind of, what we've been playing. Just a quick touch on some of the stuff happening in the world. Of course, you all know about the contests that we have going on middle of the month. So halfway through, you just keep chipping away. We do have a few. I do have some contests to pay out. So hopefully I would have done that by the time this show is out. So check your private messages if you won something. We'll have announcements on the forums. Of course, you can always go to the forums for all the information that you need. We'll move into listener feedback after we hear what Crandy's wonderful journey into the world of Amazon.
Yes, so an update on the Amazon Chronicles. So I called Amazon back after my 4th incorrect order. I think I was at 4 last week. If not, I was at 4.
So yeah, one had a copy of Dead Rising 1 and 3 copies of Dead Rising 2 for PlayStation 4, if I recall correctly.
That's what I had. Yeah, that's when I was calling them. So this person on the phone is acting all suspicious, like I'm trying to scam the company. So yes, I picked a $20 game to scam the company on my Amazon account that I buy tons of stuff on. Yeah, so I was not nice to that person. I was not nice. And so they're, jerking me around, not being cooperative, like, oh, well, we can't replace this. We want you to send them back. And I'm like, no, I'm not sending them back. It's pretty much what it was. And she's like, okay, well, we're not doing anything. So then I talked to a manager and she gave me a refund. So I got a refund. I got to keep all my Dead Risings, and I found out that they screwed up and or lied to me on the other ones, saying I didn't have to return them. I had 2 pending return labels that I did not know about. So in like 2 weeks, I would have, if they didn't get canceled by this manager, I would have had like a $40 charge in my account from these 2 pending return labels that nobody told me about, which was another nice thing to find. So I got a refund, and then I drove to Best Buy and I bought it. So finally, I have a copy of Dead Rising 2 on Xbox One, and for $20, I got $100 worth of games.
Worth it.
Yeah, right?
Kind of.
All right, well, so now that you own Dead Rising 2, are you guys going to finally settle this argument here?
Well, see, I feel like we should have prepared a proper debate. I mean, maybe we can do that later. We'll do this and we'll feel it out. If the audience wants a real, proper Dead Rising 1 versus Dead Rising 2 debate where we do some research.
It is a political season. I mean, you
I
guys
don't like the political
season. I don't think you need to remind anybody of that.
But Frame, I don't want to be like compared to either of those debates.
No, me neither.
This is like Crandy versus Tarragon. Is Clinton versus Trump? No. We're having a real debate, not a debate.
But you have local elections too. I've got some weird dude over here and some old lady over there. Like, I don't even know what.
The local election's a circus. I mean,
you're calling me an old lady.
I'll take that back. We'll not drift in this direction. Don't want to go there.
All right. So are you setting the stage now for some sort of epic, discussion over the merits between each?
Yeah. We might not be epic. With that. I didn't realize this was coming up, so I'm just. No preparation here.
All right, so we won't go into it, and we can do this for next show.
We can still do it. We can have a no prep one, but if we want a real one,
do a real one. But set your stage here and say you're a proponent for blah. Tarragon will take the counter stance in this. We'll have a week to prepare, and next week. We'll get the gloves on and really go nuts.
Okay.
Does that make you the moderator, Freem?
I am totally biased, so I'm a terrible moderator.
Prue is probably the best moderator here, actually.
Yeah,
because I don't know anything about either of those.
He's got no investment in either.
So you just volunteered yourself, Prue.
All right.
Okay.
Learn how to moderate a debate. We'll do an official debate. Debate format.
Come up with some rules and some silly rules. It'll be a good time.
All right.
And Frame composed the questions. Prue moderates, and Crandy and I will fight it out.
There you go.
And the listeners decide.
Crandy, what is your position?
My position is I think Dead Rising 1 is a superior game. I think it's superior to Dead Rising 2.
To Dead Rising 2. Okay. So that is your stance. Tarragon, what is your stance?
Basically the opposite of that. I think Dead Rising 2 improved on a lot of things in Dead Rising 1. Certainly, I won't go into the details, but Dead Rising 2 fixed a lot of things that were broken in Dead Rising 1 for the better, in my opinion.
But do you think that Crandy belongs in jail? Because this won't be a proper debate unless you believe that.
Now,
my stance
you see my
is
opponent
I'm on
here.
Well, we're not having a debate
to
now.
Drug dealers.
We're
No,
not
we're
having a
going to
debate
talk
now.
over you because this is how debates work. It's whoever can talk the loudest and make up things about their opponent wins. You see, because I can talk the loudest, I win.
But and the reason I would be,
but I can mute everyone.
See, you see, my opponent. His personal character is terrible. Therefore, I'm correct. I can talk louder than him.
And the reason I would be a terrible moderator is I am on Tarragon's side, and I think Crandy's opinion is wrong.
Boy.
So
you're the opinionated audience member that has things to say. All right.
Oh my
but
God!
I
There's a
talk
YouTube
louder.
video. There's a
Just
YouTube
make sure you're wearing
video
a red sweater.
There's a YouTube video out there that it's like they replaced the questions with video game related questions, and so like some dude stands up and he's like, given the current state of the everything, how do you really think Pokemon Go is being handled? And then like it goes into the real discussion. Oh, it's absolutely brilliant.
Oh, that's funny.
We should pull that in the put that in the show notes.
Yeah, if you can find that.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's get into our listener feedback here. Debate set for next week. We'll see how that happens. We have a question from Enigma Gamer 77. He says, "Hey, what is the most time you have ever spent chasing a single achievement?"
4,000 hours.
For what? Oh,
Conversation over, everybody.
Well,
It was actually more than that.
Was that for a single achievement though? Because you've got
That was for 3. Well,
yeah. So
they're probably 2,000 to 3,000 each.
Right. So okay. Because I was going to say that was like 3 leaderboard achievements you went through there. Yeah. For me, I'll have to come back to you actually. If let me think on that for a second.
Yeah,
mine's. Go ahead, Brew.
It's tough because it depends. I mean, like, I would be tempted to say, like, one of the Insanity runs on Mass Effect 2 or Mass Effect 3 for me, probably, because that's that's 40, 50 hours of playing just for that one achievement. I mean, I'm not crazy.
Lightweight.
Yeah, I'm going to say
that's nothing.
I was going to say, yeah. So it wouldn't be comparable, certainly. But yeah, I mean, that's probably what comes to my mind. What felt like the longest, I mentioned this on the show a few weeks ago, was that stupid Windows Phone game that was like made the length of that game 10 times longer than the rest of Oh God, I hate that game so much. But yeah, no, it was probably something like that where I had to replay the game just to get that one last achievement. Yeah, I'm not hardcore like some people are.
Yeah, and I think mine is is the amount of time I put into Destiny, and each individual achievement was not necessarily difficult per se, but like you have to build your character up so that you can effectively do certain things, and so it's hard to quantify how much I actually spent on a single achievement.
I was thinking about Destiny as well. I mean, getting the Flawless Raider. I mean, if you just factor that single achievement, yes, it took 100, 150 hours to get to the point where I was able to do that and get through the runs. But just at all of that time was not working towards that sole achievement. I was getting all of the other achievements in the game along the way. So I'm not sure that's quite a fair call. I kind of think it's kind of something you have to be doing exclusively for the one achievement in the game, and it doesn't give you anything else except for that one achievement.
I think the best way to look at it is like how the time-consuming flag is used. You say time-consuming where, 100% completion in GTA 4 is not time-consuming because you get 40 other achievements along the way. Yeah. Where, like, seriously in Gears of War is because, you get a couple here and there, but in the end, you are putting more than 20 hours into just that achievement. Yeah. So it's kind of like after you've earned everything else, then the time in between counts of how much time you spend.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think I've got to go back to Red Faction Guerrilla, and I think just grinding out the the matches required to get the 250 matches won and played in the ranked mode. I spent so many hours with a group just doing that. Like, you're not working on anything else. You're just going through, start a match, the other team quits out, win, swap. And so you're having to do that like twice, so you have to lose as well because you're doing it with a group. So they have to get their wins, and yeah, that took a long time.
I have a very proud achievement personally with that game. On the PC, I did the PC version in one sitting.
Wow.
Of the 250 matches. I think I was getting 45 matches an hour.
I think, funny enough,
the setup was ridiculous.
Yeah, funny enough, with me, the PC version seemed to take much, much less time. I got that really quickly on, like, relatively speaking, really quickly on the PC version versus the Xbox one. But
I found, the matches were very smooth. Once you got everyone working, it was really smooth. And I did it with six of my own.
Yeah,
I did it all by myself. Yeah. So it was like at like 3 or 4 screens, at like 3 instances of Windows running. It was crazy.
Yeah, but whereas I found
Randy's No Friend song.
Whereas I found the 361, the matchmaking just dropped out. It was problematic. So that just added more time. You've got to go through all the loading stuff and get into the game, and then you're quitting out and getting the teams back together. And the
360 version was much less bad if you were multi-boxing it. Because then you're all in the same network. You match up fast. I did do a lot of that with a group.
Yeah, I was never multi-boxing. And you're getting enough people. Hours and hours and hours. It's probably easily 100 hours just for that achievement, I would say.
Oh, yeah, with a group for sure.
Yeah.
I think in a 3-hour session, we'd get like 10 matches an hour or something.
Yeah, something like that. It was pretty slow.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It never occurred to me to do the time-consuming flag, and so I just went into my achievements and hit that, and 5 came up. Now, 3 of them are not at all time-consuming. 2 of them are in Minecraft for waiting 100 days. Yeah, technically it's 33 hours, but come on, that's not that dumb. The 100% in Lego Harry Potter, okay, it takes a while. 100% in Red Dead Redemption, okay. Yeah, but you're working on so many other things that doesn't count.
Yeah,
Here's the one.
Of those should have that flag personally.
Here's the one, and I wish I heard the diamond sound when I got this one. So there's 2. One's actually time consuming, and it's probably my winner. The second one I mentioned on a achievement sponsor, that Never Dead Big Spender achievement. That was freaking awful. But this one, truly awesome in Rayman Legends. I spent 6 months every day just going through playing, getting my medal and doing that. That's the one. Now, granted, I'd show up for 3 minutes every day, but it was over 6 months that I had to do that. So truly awesome.
And for me, when I did truly awesome, like I was going for gold and diamond cups, so I would spend at least half an hour a day on that for 3 months, because I wanted to do it in the least number of months possible, so I put more time in every day. But yeah, I think it took me 3 months, and I probably put in, I would say, easily 100 hours into just the leaderboard stuff.
Yeah, that's obscene.
On each version, and I did it twice, so yeah, that's
a doozy.
Well, I guess at the end it got quicker, but
here's an interesting one. I've got one achievement in my time-consuming list, which is called Very Gracious. It's from Time Shift. It's host a dedicated server for 48 hours. So that one is at least 48 hours. However, I don't know that really counts because wasn't really doing anything. So it's just an interesting one. But Topher Would Be Proud is probably the one I spent the most time on. That's the played 200. A winner is you.
Curious.
Yeah, a winner is you. Won 250 matchmaking games because you get Topher Would Be Proud about halfway through that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. Fantastic.
I Am Bad Company is up there too. That one took forever. Oof, what a terrible achievement.
All right. Well, we have another question here from Doughboy. And he asks, hey, how do you guys feel about the new trend of allowing people who spend more money on an Ultimate Edition to get to play that game, in this case, 4 days earlier? We're talking about Gears of War here. But in general, get to play their game earlier. Should that be allowed to happen? should it include anyone who does a pre-order? Where do you guys feel about this as a pre-order incentive, getting to play the game early? Prue, let's start with you. I know that's why I went with Prue, because I know your angle already.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, if people want to pay extra to, if it's a few days, I don't care. I mean, there are probably a few games that I would put that money down for to play a few days early. It doesn't bother me. It's as long as it's not like a stupid amount of time, like a month early or something. Or if it's a week early, whatever. If you want to pay $5 to play a game a week early, that's fine with me. It doesn't bother me. Who cares? And if it's a good game, I'll do it too.
I think the distinction with that one, the Ultimate Edition, you can buy that after the game's out. That's not a pre-order thing. So the Ultimate Edition comes with a whole bunch of other stuff, and it's got all the DLC, I presume, and it's got a bunch of other extra crap with it. Plus, it's also got this unlock the game or play the game 4 days earlier, which, if you think about it, becomes worth absolutely zero once the game is released. So it actually decreases the value of the Ultimate Edition after the game has been released, which is, I think, an interesting way to think about those things. It's a nice little perk, I guess, but it doesn't really do much for me. I'm not usually jumping on games on day one anyway, just because I've got enough games as it is. I may as well wait until they go on sale. So yeah, it personally doesn't interest me that much. I don't think it's a really good idea to go and buy it for that reason. Certainly, I mean, you're essentially buying the collector's edition with its bunch of extra crap that nobody really actually cares about and will be worthless in 10 years anyway, just to get access to a game 4 days earlier. I'm not really a fan ultimately.
But I think that's why I like it, is that you're rewarding the people who are absolutely so on board with your game. They want to pay for it early. They want to give you money even before you have provided them anything. That
you're rewarding them. You're rewarding those fans that have the money to spend $50 on a season pass on day one.
Yeah,
but you're not punishing anybody for not having that money. I mean, not really,
right?
Because nobody's getting anything.
That's true.
It's not like...
I think the other side of that is, if, let's say, you are a super, super, super Gears of War fan, right? You buy every single game, except you just don't happen to have enough money at that time. You are kind of punishing that person, even though they're a super fan of the game, because they just can't happen to afford to buy the Ultimate Edition of the game. I mean, it gets down to, what's the value? What's the value point?
But punishing them by what? I mean, there's nothing that they can't achieve normally anyways. I mean, I get it's just 4 extra days or a week or what. It doesn't matter what the time is. Put your time there. But what are they losing? Ultimately, they're just losing their time, which is presumably, if they're a Super Gears fan, they're just going to make up for once it comes out anyways. It's not it's like an extra weapon or a skin or something, or anything that they couldn't normally achieve anyways. It's just, you can play the game a couple days early.
And I think the only scenario where your proposal is an issue is like if for some reason this super fan won't have money 4 days but will have money 4 days after, right? Because they're going to want to buy it day one already. And so, at some point leading up to this game, if they find the money, then they have this little bonus and they can play it early because they're really excited about the game. You could split it and buy the season pass 2 months down the line. So you buy a game the day it comes out, and then 2 months later you have another $50, and now you can buy the season pass. Yeah, I mean, it totally does nothing for me. I'm on Tarragon's boat with absolutely not caring. Backlog is way too large to even, get. And this actually, when you guys were talking about value in episode 42, it's like I was yelling at my iPad to be just like, oh my god, because it's so subjective for every single person. Because the value of $1 to me is different than a value of $1 to you, and a value of essentially $2 for Australia, and Canadian is like at least right, and it just changes for every single person, and your status in life. It's like I've got so many games to play, and if I wanted to, I've plenty of money that I can go and buy whatever. I don't have any freaking time. Like, I just cannot physically do what I want to do in gaming. And so, like, it has to be a real
different angle, because
real gem of a game for me to spend.
Your bottleneck is time, not money. Where, you know, we were talking about it in terms of kind of, you know, what is the value of money, but that's a kind of an interesting take where money doesn't matter, but time does.
Right.
So, I mean,
so,
yeah,
like,
obviously time is still a factor, but
so when you guys are talking about inside and saying, you know, now I personally do think $20 is expensive for that, but
$30.
$30 is expensive for that. But the experience, like the raw experience in the amount of time, because time now for me is so valuable, the enjoyment I get out of that 4-hour block is hugely valuable. Whereas somebody's like, it was 4 hours, it was great, but it was 4 hours, now I'm going to go play something else, because that was literally half of my day, where to me that was, you know, 2 nights of, like, just that's the only focus I had, and it was really, really exciting. And so, anyway, just an interesting take on you know, achievement a value there for people. But yeah, so again, Ultimate Editions, I don't have the time to play them. It doesn't interest me, but I cannot argue with people who do have the time and the resources and care about their developers and want to do it. Now, developers absolutely must love that, because they're getting money so early in some instances. I mean, we can talk about what was the game delay that just came up, right? Cuphead delayed again. 2017. We're not getting it until middle of 2017, right? There's going to be a summer release of 2017. That was announced technically it began development in 2010, and it was announced at E3 2014. So not only was it announced from announcement to now to when it'll be released is 3 years, but it's been a 7-year project. Now, granted, it's only 2 people, and it's all hand drawn, and it's all amazing, but you know, imagine if you had heard it 2014 and said, yeah, let's go, pre-order, baby. Amazon, take my money, or whoever.
So you don't do it.
You don't do it, right? I mean, that's just obscene.
Well, you don't. It's like
Final Fantasy 15.
You're like 3 years. 3 years till that game was projected to come out, and they opened pre-orders.
Yeah.
Why would you pre-order 3 years in advance? It doesn't make any sense.
No.
You got to be sure there's going to be a copy for you. Come on now.
Oh, I know. Yeah. There's always a shortage.
You might be able to get it like 4 days earlier.
Yeah.
That's true.
There you go.
Now, I think we all know where I stand on this. Now, I will clarify that, do I think it's okay to do? Yes. Do I think it's good to do? No. Okay as in, do I think developers should be allowed to do this? Yeah, of course they should. They can do whatever they want. Now, I do not think it's a good thing because, one, this perpetuates pre-ordering. Hate that. Everyone knows that I am totally against pre-orders and I hate them. And this is, again, pre-order of digital content like season passes. Gears of War has a $50 season pass. That's even more ridiculous than Doom. It's just maps. It's just maps. Stupid.
Yeah.
Stupid, and it's starting to get ridiculous, but people keep buying it because of this. You buy 4 days early. Now, I will say, I did fall for that Crackdown Halo 3 beta thing. Fell for that one big time.
Best beta ever.
But that was awesome.
It was. But you got to play for so long and so long before Halo 3 came out that it did almost feel Crackdown was terrible. And like it scarred my tag for years.
I actually liked Crackdown.
I did
Crackdown
too.
Was terrible.
I wouldn't say it was terrible.
Crackdown is like 50-50 split. There's 50% of people that hate it, 50% of people that love it. I hate it.
You know, I had a Crackdown achievement in UHH this week. And so I played it for the first time. It's not at all. But it is
you
very
didn't play it for more than 2 hours. You have to play it for more than 2 hours. Then you'll hate it.
That's quite
I thought it was fun the first 2 hours.
I've got all the orbs in that game. I still don't hate it.
I do too.
It was actually, you know what? It is very early 360, but it's fun. It's still fun. It was still fun to run.
Drive a car?
Mm-hmm. In fact, my achievement that I had to get was for hijacking a whole bunch of cars. So I drove lots of cars, but yeah, it was great.
Did
it was
do the races DLC.
Look, Crandy, you're just wrong.
Did you say racist DLC?
Races.
Okay.
But you race a bunch of cheating cars.
So
terrible.
So like every racer ever.
No, like this is.
Okay.
I'm still to this day not convinced it's possible to beat them with the cars they give you. You have to kill them. It's the only way to win. You have to kill all of the cars before they finish the race. Then you get in your little beat up car that can't move, finish the race, and hope you don't glitch out before the end and have to walk the rest of the way.
Wonderful.
I also hate pre-orders. No, yeah, this
anyway,
is why. Just stop it, stop this, stop giving them your money, and then they'll stop. And then season passes will go away, and games will not suck again.
No, I don't think that's.
I'm pretty sure
the problem.
games will probably still suck.
Super oversimplified.
They just won't suck as early.
You know,
it can suck 4 days early if you pay a little extra.
Yeah, exactly. You can see how bad it is 4 days early. Oh, and we already have your money, so you can't get it back now that you've given us $100 before half the game came out.
So with all this being said, how much money should I give you to play Big Rigs early?
And can I pre-order?
No, you will not be able to pre-order Big Rigs.
But I want to get it early.
Give me money if you want. You can give me money if you want. Can't get it early.
What are you going to give me?
What's in the collector's edition?
Oh, there is a collector's edition. There will be a physical collector's edition. There'll be a DRM free disc, a crayon truck, a hand-drawn box. What else? A Big Rig USB and a coloring book.
But how much is the season pass?
Oh, the season pass DLC is 99 cents.
Okay,
that's reasonable.
Does that just give you?
The game's going to be $1.99, $2.99. I don't know.
Well, that's like half the value of the game. What the hell, Grant?
It'll be like 30% of the price of the game. It's called the Season Pass DLC. You don't know. I'm not specifying what that consists of, but it is called the Season Pass.
Does it just give you weather, like the seasons?
Just a bunch of rain.
It's more clever than that. Focus on the pass. The password. That's the key.
Oh, is it like an easy pass? Like you can just go through the tolls without having to stop? Is that what it is?
There you go. I like that.
We'll just have to wait for it to come out. We got to figure out how to put DLC in first.
Is that your Big Rig news? Is there anything else you need to touch on?
My
Big
Rig
Rigs
news. There is. So Big Rigs. I've finally gotten some motivation to work on Big Rigs again. Me and Jack had a brilliant idea session. So now the tagline for Big Rigs Racing, the name has changed to Big Rig 'S Racing. So the racing belongs to Big Rig.
And you just put that in for Big L, didn't you?
No, I didn't. But I mean, maybe we could feature Big L in Big Rigs Racing.
You need to have as in you are Big Rigs Racing.
Well, no. See, this plays a key part in the story, which is the big development we're working on. Is now Big Rigs Racing is going to be a cinematic racing adventure, fully voiced.
Now you're talking.
So a script is in the works. I've written about the first half, and it is terrible. It is so bad, but it's fantastic. It's exactly it's great. So
what I want to know is, will it have rare achievements?
Yeah, how's that achievement list looking?
The achievement list is looking good.
Good. Any diamonds in there?
Currently, one is called Unobtainable Achievement.
Oh, that sounds tricky.
It's Spoiler. It may or may not be obtainable.
and let me guess, it's worth like 3 points, and there's another achievement in the game worth 7.
Oh, that's it. Yeah. That's good.
Oh, don't give him ideas.
That's good. I like that idea.
Jeez. He's going to rain it out all over your gamer tag. Oh, my God.
It's going to be just dreadful, isn't it?
You might be able to earn an obtainable achievement. Who knows? Maybe it'll be a DLC.
There you go. The pass.
Well, it's like that MMA game. It's got an unobtainable achievement unless you buy the DLC, then it fixes it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So when I was listening to achievement or episode 42, you guys had also, it was around the time that the preview program came out with their achievement rarity song, right? Their little jingle and whatnot. And is that, I don't even know. I've been playing Artifacts Mundi games. They're all easy. Is that in full production? Is like everybody have that yet? Is that out of preview?
No, it's still in preview.
Okay. Yeah. But of course, on TA you can see all the diamonds and whatnot. And is it? I think is it decided that it's 5%?
10%.
It's at 10%.
It's way too many percent. I think,
which is obscene, right?
Yeah.
It's ridiculously high. Everything's so easy, especially for early games, right? Everything's rare because nobody's played it or whatever. So I've heard from a good source that they're looking into it, and that they're going to kind of tweak some of those values. And so I wanted to give my 2 cents as to how I think it should go. Because I love the idea. I still love the idea. I think it was implemented a little poorly on this first go-round, but that's why it's in preview. I think, because I love the initial jingle, and what I would do is for the first 90% of, so whatever that 90% of the bulk of your achievement list, right, is normal jingle, normal bleep bloop, nothing special, bronze tier or whatever. Then, once you get into that 10% rarity, and I don't want to use silver and gold, but that's all I could think of, right? Because that's just copying PlayStation. But I want that next tier, right? So if it's let's say it's silver, then you get a little silver jingle, and then once you get to 5%, you go to gold, and then 1% is your diamond, and you get your little diamond jingle or whatever, and you break it down. I know PlayStation has the bronze, silver, and gold trophies, but they're not tied to rarity as far as I can tell, right? It's just tied to points. So
it's not even that. It's tied arbitrarily to however the developer wants to set
whatever
it
they
up.
wanted to do.
Yep.
I think having, tiered achievements based on the rarity, then, you could have diamonds as the 1%. You could have gold medals. You could have tin coins. You could whatever, but break them into that.
I just earned a qubit achievement.
Yeah, and then you're kind of like, you can almost have like a separate dollar value, right? Like how many diamonds do you have? How many of these do you have? And you have an idea of kind of how rare your collection is. Now, granted, it's in flux all the time, but I just think that would be super slick. And of course, then you have one old big emblem, some awesome looking emblem for 100% completion. Gosh, I want that so bad.
Like a platinum trophy.
A platinum trophy.
Almost,
yeah, hey. No, a platinum badge, maybe.
Yeah,
we'll do that.
A platinum achievement.
I suggested this same kind of thing. I got cut out of the last episode, unfortunately, due to some issues with the audio. I will tell you, Freem, even as someone who plays Killer Instinct and Halo Master Chief Collection very frequently, even 5% is too often for a quote-unquote rarer achievement. Like every single one of those achievements would be super common.
I think just on that, the Banner Saga 2, I think every single achievement in that is rare. And that's just because it was out on Games with Gold. So everybody picked it up, probably loaded up the game, didn't get an achievement. Every single achievement is 10%. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
I feel like, again, like it depends on how you want to implement it, but like the diamond achievement should be one. I feel like just one achievement for every game, whether it's the last one you unlock or the rarest one. It's too much if it's anything other than that. If it's like 2% or 5%, it feels like it's just too much because the same thing with Killer Instinct. Like that game has hundreds of achievements, and I was scrolling down the list, and like maybe 10 of them are not diamond achievements.
So maybe having a max limit of the amount of rare achievements that are possible per game. That might be one way to tackle it.
Top 5.
I like that as well. Yeah, we got to get who can do that. Who can fix it? Mike Ybarra. Xbox Quick, you can fix this for us.
Come on the show, and we'll have a discussion with Raincloud.
We'll have a powwow on how achievement rarity should work.
I don't know. I do like the limit, though. The limit is good.
Yeah, I like that idea.
Well,
now,
that's the thing. You wouldn't have to then think about the percentage at all, because all you need to do is take the 5 rarest achievements of the game, and they're the rare achievements. You don't need to think about the percentage, just what are the rarest.
Or even like 5% of the achievements in the game.
Yeah,
so like,
I was going to say that
Killer Instinct would have more rare achievements than
Yeah.
I don't know, Avatar.
You can do that too. Now, the only issue would be the achievement where you unlock all achievements, right? Because you unlock 2 at the same time. And but that might make that one not the most common unobtainable achievement, right? Like, hopefully you get it fixed, because that's your diamond achievement, is get all other achievements. And, you'd like to think that the developer would get that working correctly. But I would make no promises, because, that's the nature of...
You'd like to think that anyway.
Trying to fix these things, right? Wonderful. Well, that pretty much wraps up the show. We should head over to the cemetery and hear about this week's awesome game.
Shovelware Cemetery.
Hi there, welcome to this week's Shovelware Cemetery. This week Damien couldn't be with us, so it will just be me. We are covering just one game this week, and it is Warhammer End Times Vermintide. But before we get to that, I would like to ask the listeners what you think of Shovelware Cemetery. So this week, in the show notes, there's going to be a link to a survey. You don't have to identify who you are. You can if you want in the comments. And tell us why you don't like Shovelware Cemetery. Tell us if you don't care about it. Pretty much tell us anything you want, and please be honest. We can take your criticisms, or we appreciate your positive feedback, or your neutral feedback. We just kind of like to get a feel for it, and we've been doing 2 games a week, or 1 big game, and it takes a lot of time. So if you guys like it, we'll continue to do it. If not, we will reevaluate what we cover in the segment. So now on to Warhammer End Times Vermintide, and it is pretty much Left 4 Dead with Warhammer characters and Warhammer setting. Personally, I think it's better than Left 4 Dead, because I've been a long time critic of Left 4 Dead, thinking it's kind of overpriced for what it is. It was kind of, Left 4 Dead 2 felt like more of an expansion pack than a new game. And this one is cheaper than Left 4 Dead when it came out. It is $40 or $39.99 or your regional equivalent, and is developed and published by Fat Shark. So I'm not personally super familiar with the lore and universe of Warhammer, and this is Warhammer Fantasy, not Warhammer 40k. But the company, or the developer, did work with Games Workshop in order to keep it true to the universe. So I'm going to assume it is. And in this setting, you, instead of zombies, are fighting rat people. And there are different classes of rat people that you fight. You have the little guys that kind of come out wherever throughout the level, and they're easy to kill, they're easy to take care of, they're not much of a threat unless there's a lot of them. Then they can be. But you also have the special classes of rat people. You have ones that will kill you very quickly. I think one is called the Rattling Gunner, and he's got a big Gatling gun. Does a lot of damage, pretty much impossible to melee. Then you have other ones that will pull you away from your allies, and then the crowds of rat people will come to attack you, and they will, like Left 4 Dead, incapacitate you. So once you've been grabbed, you can't really do anything to fight back. And there are a few other classes, and then there's the kind of tank equivalent, which is called the Rat Ogre, and is a huge giant rat that does a lot of damage, can take a lot of damage, and is generally scary. So stay away from him and focus on him when you're fighting. Now, the thing that's different, there are 2 major things that are different. One is there are classes. Now, there are 5 different classes. Each of them has a melee and a ranged attack, and some of them are more proficient at range attacks, some of them are more proficient at melee attacks, and there's a nice mix, including even the dwarf who has a big shield and can block a lot and kind of act as the group tank to an extent. And that alone is really nice. It keeps it a lot more fresh than a game like Left 4 Dead, because you can play the same campaign as 5 different characters that are actually different. Left 4 Dead, yeah, of course you can change the model, but really at the end of the day they're the same. And I quite like that. They all are pretty balanced in my opinion. They so the ones that can do more damage have less ability to block, or maybe are slower, kind of things like that. It's definitely well thought out, and it's quite nice. Then the next element is the kind of RPG leveling up element. So you overall level up and unlock, I think you unlock weapons as you level up, and you also unlock weapons through loot dice that you find throughout the levels. And they're just kind of hidden in treasure chests. Some levels I didn't find any, some levels I found one. And you roll that, and based on how many success rolls you get a new item. And the new items I got, I wasn't able to equip right away. I had to go through the forge, which I wasn't quite sure how that worked. I just unlocked it kind of at the end of playing it. You level up very, very slowly. I think I only got to level 2 or 3 after putting in a number of hours in this game. So the level 100 achievement is going to be very time consuming. And that can kind of bring me into the next part, is the achievements. Now, there are achievements that nobody has earned on TA. Nobody's earned on Xbox Live. We can see that now because of the diamonds, which is kind of nice. I don't think they're unobtainable. I just think they're very, very time consuming. For example, getting to level 100. If it took me that many hours just to get to level 3, it's going to take many, many, many hours to get to level 100. And I don't think there's going to be any way to boost it. So if you are completionists, you may want to play this on a dummy tag, or you got a lot of hours ahead of you for the completion. Being said, though, it is very fun. So there is the campaign mode, and then there is also a horde mode where you just have kind of waves and waves of rat people coming at you. It's very similar to Left 4 Dead. The maps on this, the one map I played was a little more open, and the waves kind of came from one direction, so they were a little easier to deal with. I played both the horde mode and the campaign mode alone and with other people. Playing alone, the bots were actually quite competent, much more competent than Left 4 Dead, which is another criticism I have, where it's almost impossible to play by yourself because the AI is so bad. Here, I had no problem. I was only playing on normal, so I wasn't playing on the really high difficulties to kind of test their skills, but it was by no means impossible to get through the game, and it was quite pleasant. I did play with other people too, but kind of the nature of matching up with randoms is they don't usually have headsets, don't usually communicate. So none of us communicated, but we still had fun, and we still played through the levels with no problems. So definitely, though, it's a game where I would recommend playing with a group because it's going to be more enjoyable. Next is kind of another criticism where it appears that the game is online only. So even if you're playing by yourself, you still have to connect to a server, and you still have to start a match through that server. So I was not able to play offline to test just the way we have the account set up here, but I don't think it would be possible. Now, that's not a problem now, but a number of years down the line, if the servers don't exist anymore, that could become a problem and make the entire game unplayable, which is kind of unfortunate for a game that works pretty well single player. Not optimal, but definitely not worth kind of shutting down as a whole. So the last point that I'll talk about is it really kind of felt like you were playing the characters as they were supposed to be, and kind of how they're presented, just the way the gameplay is. It's a first-person game like Left 4 Dead. You have a melee weapon, you have a ranged weapon, and there was kind of a cutscene at the beginning of the game that kind of showed the characters. Usually in those kind of cutscenes in games, it's exaggerated how the characters are playing their they're extra fast, they're extra kind of skilled, they're attacking and killing more things than you would be able to in the game. But it felt like in this game that you were really playing those characters as they're presented. It can be very fast paced in a good way, and kind of the way the combat works makes you feel like you're in that role. And I really think they nailed it in that aspect, and it makes it very satisfying to play, especially when you're playing well and not just being overrun by rat people. So definitely overall, it's totally worth the price. I would absolutely give it Sanctuary and definitely recommend it, aside from the completionist aspect. Oh, the other downside that I forgot to mention, I will still give it Sanctuary, is unlike Left 4 Dead, there is no versus mode. So there's no option to play as the rat people versus I want to call them survivors, but the Warhammer people. So that's kind of a downside, which would kind of take away from some replayability. But overall, it's definitely worth the price. Lots of replay value, and it's a lot of fun.
Well, that'll do it for another wonderful show. It was so great being back, and I hope you all enjoyed listening to it because, man, I missed recording podcasts. It was so much fun. And if you could help us out, please give us an iTunes rating, Google Play, whatever you happen to listen to this podcast on. We would greatly appreciate you guys spreading the word. We love new listeners and to infuse our forums and our chat with all sorts of new blood. Of course, our website, Z2Z.com, where you can find show notes, credits, links to things that we've talked about in the show. Specifically going to the site and answering that survey that Crandy talked about in Shovelware. It would be wonderful to hear your advice, your suggestions, your complaints, whatever you have. And we also have some really great things coming up in the near future, so keep listening, keep checking our forums over at discourse.z2z.com. You can also reach out to us if you want to communicate with the show, let us know what's on your mind. Twitter is one of the best ways, at ZZZEDTOZED. There's the email address, stay a little more anonymous, contact@z2z.com. True Achievements has tons of ways to reach us, like via PM, or you can just bombard our friend feed with notes. That works as well. Wherever you can to reach out to us, we would greatly appreciate it. We love engaging with our listeners and our community. You guys are awesome. I do want to give a big thanks to all the sites and tools that we use to get this show going. Libsyn, Discord, Trello, Twitter, Discourse, Zencaster, TrueAchievements.com. You guys are huge help for us. And a quick shout out to any other sites who help us and make achievement hunting reality. We love you, and we could not do this without you. Last but not least, I want to thank Microsoft for the awesome Xbox console. So, that being said, on behalf of Crandy, Tarragon, and Prue, this has been Brandon. And to all you achievement hunters and Gamerscore junkies, thank you so much for listening, and we'll catch you next episode. And Audacity is cruising. Perfect. Hey, Clanky, you done over there?
Almost.
Get one more bite.
You're like eating the spoon?
The last bite of that Ebola Granola is the best.
Right before the sores open up.
Yeah.
Yummy. Full of Ebola. Ebola Granola.
Trademark that one.
Oh, now with Ebola marshmallows.
I'll work. From the makers of Ebola Granola, Ebola marshmallows.
And Ebola s'mores.
Oh, gross.
Spores or s'mores?
S'mores.
See, that's where it gets you. You don't know.
Open the package. What do you get?
Ebola s'mores.
Oh, man. This has gone way off track already.
Who's next?
Prue. Let's go with Prue. What have you been up to, Prue?
Working on... Sorry, hold on. God, sorry.
Jeez. It's awful.
Start that again.
And hear about this week's awesome game.
Or not awesome, as the case may be.
Yeah. What was it? I forgot what you were doing. One game. Oh, Warhammer.
Neither of us have played it yet.
Yeah, where did that come from? I saw that pop up when I signed in, and I'm like, where the hell did this come from?
I think Damien...
Seems like a big game to get as a freebie.
Yeah, I think Damien talked to them at PAX. I think that's
awesome.
Yeah.
So, because I used to
I was
play,
surprised too.
Yeah, I played Warhammer.
I'm sure it'll be good.
And Skaven is my army. Like the rat men, the bad guys in this one, is actually my army, and it's like.
Did you play Warhammer Fantasy?
I have 3 fantasy armies and 3 40k armies.
Oh, nice. I don't really know anything about fantasy.
Yeah, Skaven, orcs, and lizardmen. Oh, and Tomb Kings. Sorry, I've got 4. And that was expensive. And then Tyranids, Imperial Guard, and I think those are the only 2 that I had.
I was disappointed with the Tyranids on the 40k PC because the orcs had more units than the Tyranids. Didn't make any sense.
Yeah. Anyway, neither here nor there.